This is Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com. Everybody loves a diesel truck. So much power, so much torque. They're great, but what's the complaint you hear, Eric, when people drive these off the lot?
Well, they buy the trucks with the advertised power of like 500 horse, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, but they get in and drive it, and it just has a ton of lag. There's always going to be some inherent lag with the turbo since it's powered off the exhaust, so it takes a minute for it to spool up. But there's a few tricks that we can do that help bring that power on a lot earlier and smoother.
And you have the solutions at Stealth Performance, so show us the module that you have that's going to help folks overcome that lag.
Okay, so this is the module right here, and it just plugs in line with a couple sensors. It usually only takes like 5 minutes to install.
That's it. And what's it hooking up to?
The fuel pressure sensor and the boost sensor. So what it's going to do is bring that fuel pressure up earlier, so you get a more efficient plume out of the injectors. That way you get more potential out of the fuel. And it also tricks the boost into pitching the vanes of the turbo to bring that boost on earlier as well.
So as the driver, what are you going to feel that's different when you put a module in from Stealth Performance?
Oh, it's just going to be a lot more responsive. You're going to have better acceleration, more bottom end torque, and not only will you notice a difference when daily driving, like with no trailer, but when you get a heavy load behind it, that's when it really shines.
I know what you're asking right now, is it safe for my vehicle?
Yes, and to prove that, honestly, what I did the other day, because I've said this before on tech calls and things, is I took this module, I smashed it with a hammer, I lit it on fire, I cut the wires, and I wrapped them all together while the truck was running. Unplugged it, plugged it back in factory, and just drove off down the road. Just manipulating a couple of reference signals, it's always protected by the factory programming. It couldn't cause harm if it tried.
And speaking of factory programming, does this void the warranty when you plug in a module from Stealth?
The reason warranties get voided is because they can detect the flash count, which means like if someone plugs into the OBD2 port and reprograms the truck's computer, it's always in the history. Fortunately, the module does not reprogram the truck's computer, so it leaves all factory programming intact, so there's never going to be a history of you reprogramming it. So there's no footprint left behind.
How many different makes and models of trucks do you cover?
So we make them for all the major manufacturers, all the newer diesels, the Ram, Chevy, and Ford.
I know you said it's an easy hookup, it's an easy installation. What if I'm having issues with it?
So the majority of the issues is just a connection thing, but we have 24/7 tech support. If you call, you're going to talk to me, the owner, on the phone, 24/7.
You can get rid of that sluggish feeling when you're towing, when you're getting on the on-ramp, pulling out in traffic. You can find them at stealthmodules.com. These things are great.